So this video is for the lesson 1.1 assignment. So we're going to start off, I'm going to go ahead and show you the calculator hack. I'm going to show you both ways, how to do it with the calculator, how to do it by hand. Because again, we all have different learning styles, so I want everybody to have an option. So the cool thing about these calculators is you can tell the calculator to treat letters like numbers. And you can tell it every time you see an X, treat it like a 2, okay? So functions. Functions start off with f of x, okay? That's just the name. F of x is just a fancy y. That's it. It is a fancy y. We just need to get in the habit of naming our functions like this, f of x, because as you progress in math, next year, the following year, you start dealing with multiple functions and you need to be able to tell them apart. This one is f of x, this one is g of x, this one is h of x. So we give them names so we can tell them apart, just like you all were given names so we can tell you apart, okay? But it's just a fancy y. X is always the input. So when you see it written like this, f of negative 4, all that means is they want you to swap out every x with a negative 4. Did y'all ever play the code game? Like in elementary school, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, and you write coded messages? Or am I like really dating myself at this point? Cinnamon text? I don't know. We didn't have cell phones when I was in elementary school. That's what this is. It's the code game. This is a code, but it's backwards. This time the letters represent numbers, okay? So in the calculator, anytime we use this hack is called, we call it control var, you need to start fresh. This is one of those for sure that carries over. It carries over to the different pages. So always make sure that you read X and you start fresh. So the first thing we're going to do from the home screen, remember I like to use this calculator right here. You can get a calculator page by pressing 1, which is add a document, and then 1 for calculator. If you want to do it just using buttons. You can use the cursor, you can use the arrow keys, whatever works best for you. Okay? Next, we're going to set each variable equal to the given value. So we're going to type the number, which is negative 4. Negative is down here, next to the enter. Do not confuse it with subtraction. Negative or negate and subtraction are two completely different things, and it will throw the math off. Easiest way to remember, negatives are in front of numbers. Subtraction signs are in between numbers. Okay? So if it's out at the beginning, like it is here, negative x, that's a negative sign. Okay? If it's in parentheses, like this, like a negative 8, that's a negative sign. If it's in between two things, 8 minus 2, that's subtraction. Even if there's parentheses, minus 2. This is still x minus 2. Okay? So, when in doubt, try them both. Best advice that I can give you, but really learn to visually pick up what's a negative and what's a subtraction. All right, so we're going to type negative 4 in, and then we're going to press control var. So control minus the light blue key over here on the left-hand side above equals. And then var is the key above 9. And it should put an arrow in there for you. And then X is our letter. That's what we're swapping it out for. So we type an X, and then we hit enter. Anytime you type an X on that calculator screen now, it's going to treat it like a negative 4. So if I say negative 2x, mathematically, what am I doing? Negative, well, it's just negative 2 times x, right? Letter and a number shoved together is multiplication, okay? So negative 2 times x, but if x is negative 4, it's negative 2 times negative 4. And your calculator does that. Your calculator is treating that x like the value negative 4. It doesn't see it as a letter, okay? So now I can evaluate this. If x was switched out with a negative 2, I can just type that whole thing in. So negative x squared is right here next to the 4, and that works just for an exponent of 2. If we need another exponent, we use what we call the caret top key. That's right here, and it's next to the x squared. But negative x squared minus 8x minus 14 gives me a 2. And that's it. If I evaluate this function for f of negative 4, its value is 2. And that's it. Okay? If I do it by hand, okay? This is how I taught 8th graders to do this. We take our function and we rewrite it. And I usually tell them to rewrite it really big. You can kind of see I spaced things out. That was step 1. Rewrite the function. Step 2, wherever you see a letter, go put parentheses around it. It's one of those trust me things. The parentheses help the mathematical operations stay intact. If you don't have those parentheses in some situations, the math goes wonky. So it's just rule of thumb, we put them anytime that we see an x. And now we can swap out this x for this negative 1. And then at that point, we can type it in the calculator. So negative 3, parentheses and all, open parentheses. This would be a negative 1 because that negative is completely inside those parentheses. Negative 1, close parentheses, and then this is subtraction, minus 3. And that equals 0. And so we're going to practice with both methods, so don't panic that we're only doing one. I just wanted you to have the calculator hack. So for this page, I don't care what you do with the right-hand side. All I'm worried about is the left. So I'm going to cut mine in half. Okay. Cut mine in half. And then in my journal, and if you weren't here Friday, give me a second and I'll get you caught up to this point. In my journal where we put that calculator page, so here was the 10 we wrote, and here was the calculator page. We're going to stick it, technically it's the front of that page. So we work backwards. So this was the page from Friday. We'll go in this direction. And it goes here. So this is the 10. This is the calculator page. This is the new one today. If you need help getting in the right spot, you let me know. Okay, my dear. Where are we at? Okay. So the glossary pages, so that's all right. Your glossary, this will go here, and I'll help you do that. Okay. This page right here. Hang on, let me grab that one. What did I do with those? Oh, please tell me I have extras.
Wasn't any over here where I was eating?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we did them.
Yes. No.
I might have put them here. I did. Oh, that's still not it.
The calculator page?
Oh, here it is. I got it. Okay. This one goes here. This one goes here. Okay. Anybody else not sure where things go? Oh. College algebra is going to kill me this year. Like, I really do. Like, it's going to be the, like, I don't ever want to teach again.
Oh, that's the one Meredith is in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is she freaking out?
Uh-huh. She was over at the house yesterday.
Why did she switch to that one?
I have no idea. I think she was regretting her decision.
Yeah, because it and I didn't get to talk to him about it today just because we're having to move so quick. It's going to affect eligibility. So even though it's a college class, it will affect their eligibility. So, and that's what it messes them up because in college, 65 is passing. But
Right.
for UIL eligibility, it's not. Okay. if I need to come back or if I need to help you with the journal, you just let me know and I will help you. So here's our assignment for the day. So I record all of my lessons, so if you are not here, you can always go on Google Classroom, find, again, the lesson numbers. I do my best to get them printed. You can see it kind of cut it off here. But you can find the video that matches up with the assignment you missed, and you can get the free answers that everybody else is getting, okay? So I printed this in a way where you can pop this page so you don't have to flip back and forth. So I'm going to work this first page by hand, okay? So you can see both methods. All right, so doing it by hand, I rewrite the expression. I put parentheses around the x, and then I swap out the x for the given value. And then once I do that, I can just type it into my calculator, -7 times 5. Parentheses and all. And then my answer is -35. That literally is the extent of today. I'm not gonna stress your brains out much further than that. That's the concept for today. All right, number 2. So rewrite my expression. Again, you can kind of see I'm giving myself some spaces, some gaps. Put parentheses around my x. Swap out my x for a 5. And then type it in my calculator, parentheses and all. And I get a 7. All right, number 3. Now this one already has some parentheses. So I still rewrite it. But I go back where that x is and it gets its own special set. So I know it looks weird to your eyeballs to have double parentheses there, but it's okay. That's the way it's supposed to be. Erase that x and swap it out for a 5. And then in the calculator, I double up on those parentheses. And make sure that I get them all. If I open, I close, all of that good stuff. And we get a 63. So not too terrible, right? Everybody kind of still in their comfort zone? Okay. All right, here is where those parentheses really make a difference, especially with exponents. So I'm going to rewrite. Now those parentheses go around just the letter, not the exponent. That exponent has to stay on the outside. He's not cool enough. I want the parentheses just around the letter. So erase the x. The 5 goes inside. Mathematically, this is one of the most important spots to have those parentheses, because if your answer is negative, okay, say it's a -5, right? If I do it without parentheses and I do -5 squared, I get a -25. But if I do the parentheses like I'm supposed to and put the -5 in parentheses and then square it, I get a +25. That's a big difference. -25 is you owe me $25. +25 is you got $25 in your wallet. That's a big difference between owing money and having money. Okay? So 5 squared. So this is not negative. It's just 5 squared minus 11. And we get 14. All right, so here's all the answers from the first page. All right, second page, number 5. So I am going to do this one by hand because it's got 2 letters in it, okay? So I'm going to rewrite it. Each letter, even though they're different, each letter gets its own set of parentheses. Just make sure when you do the swap that you're swapping the right letter and number. So X is 4. Y is 7. So again, make sure you're getting the right pieces in the right places. We type it in the calculator. Go. 3 times 4 plus 7. And I get a 19. Okay? So same rules, just have to kind of repeat the same rule. So now I'm going to do it using the calculator hack so you can see what it looks like with two numbers. So if I'm using that control var, I want a red X. Don't save, and I want to start fresh. So X is 4, so I'm going to press 4, control var, and then X. 4, control var, X. And now my calculator picked it up. And then 7, so I'm going to do 7, control var, Y. 7, control var, Y. And now it's set. Now, if I'm doing it this way, I just type everything in. Negative 6x plus 2y. And I want you to notice something. Do you see how my letters are bold? That means mathematically you're good. There's no error. Okay? So I'm going to show you another example here so you know how to fix it. So for number 6, I get a negative 10. Say we had negative 6xy. Say that was our expression. I'm going to type that in. So negative 6x, x is bold, I'm good. But as soon as I hit that y, it unbolds. The letters need to be bold and dark. Okay? If they unbold, you need to go back and put parentheses around your letters. And you can tell now that they stay bold. And it'll work it. If you don't, so I'm going to show you the error that you get. It gives you an error. Okay? Your calculator is only as smart as you are. Meaning it can only do what you type into it. It can only do what you are telling it to do. So you're the brain behind that machine. Okay? If you type something in wrong, it's going to give you the wrong answer. That's not the calculator's fault. I can't tell you how many times I have kids go, this calculator keeps giving me the wrong answer. No, baby, you're typing it in wrong. Calculator, again, can only give you what it knows. The nice thing about this page is I can move to number 7. I've already programmed X to be 4 and Y to be 7, so I don't have to start over. I can just type this in. So to do a fraction, I do control division. 32 on top, X on bottom. Oop. Right arrow key to get out of the fraction. And then I type 3y. So 7 is 29. And I'll put all my answers up again for you, so don't panic if you don't get them right now. All right, type it just like you see it. Whatever you type in your calculator should always match your paper. Exactly. Type it in exactly like you see it. Ooh, that doesn't look the same, does it? So always check. Does my screen look like this? Because it's easy to hit a button twice. Okay? And that one is 5. So there's the answers from the second row. I don't know if it is that Scentsy or what, but ooh, face is giving me a hurt. Okay, number 9. So now, letter changed, number changed. So in my calculator, if I'm doing it this way, I have to red X and start over. So for this one, I would do negative 3, control var, and I can use the letter A. That's okay. Oh. Negative 3, control var, A. And then just type 10A in, and it gives me a negative 30. All right, what I want to do for number 10, I'm going to work it by hand. I want you to work it whatever way you feel most comfortable with. By hand, using Control VAR, and we'll compare our answers. All right, what'd y'all get?
11.
I got 11. So both methods we get the same answer. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. We have got about 15 minutes. I think you got time. I left you 14 questions. Do not sit and suffer. If you get stuck, you let me know. You let me help you. I am more than happy to check. If I check and you've got something wrong, I'll hand it back to you. I'll let you fix it before I ever grade it. Okay? So work on those. Like I said, if you need me, let me know.